audio video move over.
Now I have to go for this. Off video. It's automatically
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Greetings. Pleasure to meet you finally.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Cool.
Hello, Narsi. Good afternoon.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. I've just logged in with the IAF account, so let's see if I'm host. Yes, I think I'm the host. Cool. So Raj, I can give you host whenever you wish. So and remain Narsi and me as co-hosts if you like.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will make Narsi co-host, and Raj, you'll be host from this moment.
Yes, Paul, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you now, Raj. Fantastic.
Okay.
Hey, Kevon.
Hey, hello. Hi, Paul.
Good that you guys could join us, and thank you, Narsi and Raj, so much for your time here. This is a volunteer association, and we are every time we dedicate some time to our members, we are jeopardizing a little bit of our lives. So in the end, we hope that someone will thank us. You know?
For our joy, it's for our joy of contribution. So,
But particularly, yeah.
Are
Narsi.
you guys all based in the same region or different regions?
myself, Raj in India, and we are colleagues.
I'm based in Madrid, EU. And how about you, Peter? You're Auckland, right? New Zealand?
No, Australia, Sydney.
Sydney, Australia. Right, cool. And you, Kevin?
I'm sitting in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think Asia is going to dominate the market of the video collaboration.
I guess. Well, it's everywhere.
Okay, guys. Cool. So have you seen the planning that I have proposed earlier today? Do you feel comfortable with the session?
Yes.
I've seen it, Paul. Yeah.
Raj?
I've seen it. My role is the breakout room announcements.
Correct, Raj. I would hope that you manage also the breakouts, because when people break out, they will be logging in on Peter's and Kevin's platforms, right?
Yes. Yes. So I can do that. Two things. One, you may have to make me. You already made me the host. Thank you so much. I have all the controls. I see all the controls here. Breakout room is available. So I can do that. I can break us into breakout rooms. Second thing is the instruction for the breakout room that you will be taking care.
The instructions for the breakout room, that is something that we can plan right now. That's the reason why we are here earlier. Thank you so much for being here. We can plan the instructions, but basically the objective is for the group to be able to experiment on Toasti and group and video facilitator.
Yeah.
And then for 20-minute slots, and then that same group changes the platform.
Yeah. So my proposal is, if I can make Peter and Kevin as co-host, so they can move between the breakout rooms instead of moving the entire team. Because otherwise we can move the facilitators. What do you feel?
But I'm guessing we're actually sending them a link to our platforms if possible, right? So there's going to be a transition from in Zoom to out of Zoom and then back into Zoom at the wrap up, I'm guessing. Or is it just kind of more of a one-way Kevin and I are presenting?
Oh, okay. So you mean they will, sorry.
I think they will be hopping over to our platform.
Yeah, so I think yeah.
I think the challenge is how do we get them to come back? And
Okay,
the
so-
timekeeping.
Yeah,
So this is both the platforms are going to be again video platforms or just virtual collaboration tools.
The
Video
video
platform.
platform. Yeah. And the
So
problem
they-
with video platforms is the minute the camera's used on Zoom, it won't be able to be accessed
that is
from any of
tricky.
the other platforms. So they need to drop out and then join the other platform.
Yeah.
And even if Kevin and I were to present our platforms, the video won't work over there because unless you've got a second camera or something, but I don't. So
We need to come out of this and get into there. Okay.
exactly. This is a completely different ball game, Raj. You're going to love it, you and Narsi, because we will all be in the session. So I think that the best thing will be for us as co-hosts, the three of us, to be on the platforms in order to take control of the time and say, hey guys, come on back.
Yes.
Right. So we have that role to fulfill. So maybe Raj, you can stay on Zoom, vigilant, because you can then stay on Zoom and you can pick up any session you like to go.
Yes.
Maybe Narsi, I could be in one group and you could be in the other group. Is that okay?
I will make sure that you and Narsi they are in two different groups, and then I will stay in Zoom. And there's no point me going into any of the breakout rooms also because they are not going to be in the breakout room. Once they enter there, from there they're going to move into Toasti or the other one.
Exactly. The only reason why you should do the breakout room random is to create two different group of people, right? So that's that's the only function that Zoom will do for us is to create two groups, random groups, right?
Yeah.
I think they are 24 registered participants, so 12.
Yes.
And then you would move me to one group and Narsi to the other.
Yep.
Right? And when
will
we
do
are
that.
in the group, then we are in a group, Peter and Peter will be in one group and Kevin in the other group, right?
Mm-hmm.
That also I have to ensure.
Yes.
Not
And
both of them in the same.
when we are in the subgroups, I would, for instance, say if Peter is my group, I say, hey Peter, now take the lead and lead us to your platform. So Peter will then put in the chat the link, and everybody will go to Peter's platform. And in the other breakout room, Narsi will do the same. We'll say, hey Kevon, please take us to your platform.
Yeah.
And from there onward, we have to control 20 minutes because then we need to go back to Zoom in order to get Peter in our group and Kevin on the other group and do the same.
Mm.
Now, Paul, I will make sure that we have. I have the record of who was there in which room because they're going to log out and log in.
That's
high
fantastic.
probability Zoom will not remember and put those two people in two different rooms. I will have a record. The moment everybody logs in the background, I will create the breakout room and put people into respective rooms. And then the moment you are ready, I can open the rooms and send them to the respective rooms. This time, Peter and Kevin in two different other rooms.
Exactly. You switch Peter and Kevin.
Yep, I will do that.
Is that comfortable for everybody?
Yeah, so the hands-on session number 1, how many minutes that 19 hours to 30 minutes?
I was proposing 20 minutes for the sessions, but it won't be 20 minutes because with entering the level, it will be 15 minutes, Okay. So Kevin and Peter, the challenge for you is to within 15 minutes explain and play something more about your platform.
Sure. Yeah.
So I want to tell Peter and Kevon that I'm supposed to ask you some questions. So I'm going to take the questions as you are presenting. Okay, I'm going to form the questions as you are presenting.
Okay.
So I don't have advanced questions. So based on your presentation, I'm going to jot down questions as I'm listening to you. So it will be spontaneous and it will be very natural kind of stuff. So
Is it just talking or do we talk with slides?
up to you.
Okay.
Whatever is comfortable for you. I'm
I
going to take the download frame questions in my mind as I'm listening to you. Depending upon the time available, maybe 3-4 questions. So that's be fine.
Okay, I think I'll just keep it brief because they're gonna experience the platform anyway. The slides don't really make
Beautiful.
sense.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
we just talk, have a chat.
Yeah, so but we have a good amount of time there, a total of 25 minutes, your time, maybe 15 minutes, and I have about, yeah, I think Peter has given me. So.
Sure.
Okay, guys. So I think we have to acknowledge here our colleague from Japan. Hello. Hi there. Welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Glad that you are here. Yoshioka.
Yes, come here.
Good. Welcome. We're finalizing just the planning of the session. Just to remind you guys that during this first part, you're going to be live on Facebook, on IAF Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's why it's recording at the moment, I'm guessing.
Okay, so we have 6 minutes to go. Who wants to tell a good anecdote? I know one funny. You know, here in Spain, everybody's concerned about the coronavirus, and everybody has to wear masks in the school. And this is the small kid that returns home and say, "Hey," mother says to the boy, "Oh, but that's not your mask. You're wearing different masks." "Yes, this is a much nicer one. I changed with my friend, who changed with another friend, and they changed with my friend."
So there, our friend from Tokyo is showing. You can change.
That's the background.
Nidine is the first one to come along with me, and Raj.
Okay.
Analog screens.
Also, Ula on board.
Ula.
Hello, Ula. Ula is probably in Jamaica, right?
Yeah. I think, can we rename ourselves, putting our country over there?
Good idea. Let's do that.
And you can also ask the participants as they are coming. So Paul, you can announce that or put it up in a slide, whatever.
Okay, let's use the three of us. Start with IAF. So everybody understands that we are the hosts. Like this.
Hi. Just checking my mic. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, Hula. Good to see you again virtually.
Is it buenos dias?
It is buenas tardes already here in Madrid.
Buenas tardes.
Yes.
I think you might have a bit of feedback, Ula, when you speak.
A feedback. Oh.
There's a bit of buzzing.
What could that be?
Maybe the plug of your headphone is not like firm.
It is.
Okay.
That's cool.
Raj?
Better?
Sorry, Raj, can you
That's
give
fine.
me a host for just 1 minute so I can start the Facebook Live?
Yes, please.
I will revert that to you in a moment.
1 minute.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so we are going to start the broadcast on Facebook because last time it took us a lot of time and we missed the first part. So let's make sure that this time this don't happen.
I don't know about you, Kevin, but I hardly use Zoom nowadays, so I always find it interesting to try to learn what to do.
Well, I guess we'll be using our platform most of the time.
Well, I'm really.
Oh, we're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook now. Cool. Fantastic.
Yay.
I'm not sure how many more will be watching from Facebook, but at least during the first part of this session, they'll have the chance to.
I'm also wondering, Paul, after the breakout room, what people will be seeing on Facebook.
Okay, cool. So if we are now live on Facebook, Raj, I'm going to give you back the host. So you will be now taking the host here. Okay. That's great. Fantastic. And I'm going to. Okay, it's 1 minute to start time. Would it be okay if we are not 24 still to split the group, Kevin and Peter, or should you? You will have more or less 5 to 6 in your sessions. Is that okay?
Yeah, works for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, small group is fine.
That's
More
fine.
intimate.
Yes, small is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. So shall we kickstart this, Narsi? It's top of the hour.
Yes.
Okie doke. So welcome everybody, and it's so good to be here with all of you. We are hosting the second Tech Level Up session. It's every first Wednesday of the month. We will hope to have a meeting where our expertise in digital tools, and in this particular case, video collaboration tools, will be level up. So the goal is here to also experience new platforms, new digital tools that we can use for virtual facilitation. I'm Paul Nunes-Dia. I'm CPF and currently holding the position of Director of Conferences and Events in our association. I'm lucky to have in this team, in these global event teams, Narsi and Raj from IAF India. So we are truly a global team. Without further ado, I'll pass on to Narsi and Raj to introduce themselves and follow the script of the session as planned. Plenty of opportunities for everybody to participate, and I hope you enjoy this session.
Thank you, Paul. So hi everybody, good evening from India. It's 6:30. Very, very happy to be working with Paul for a few months now on this level up platforms. The idea is just to showcase the power of certain platforms that we facilitators need to be familiar with. And now that the pandemic is going to continue, we are getting familiar with several platforms to serve our clients and for our IAF facilitators to feel confident, in navigating through these platforms. So here we are. Thank you for Paul for thoughtfully putting together all these things and choosing to collaborate with us from India. Thank you. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Paul, and thanks everybody for joining. I'm part of actually Narcis's team at office. We're both colleagues. He's my senior. You can see him right there in that cabin. So that's where we are, both in India. So I had the opportunity of being with IAF for last 3 years, and I've been also given the privilege to be part of the tech team of IAF, especially for the Zoom sessions. We've been doing this since 2017, almost every month, except for the conference months. And we've been having the privilege of having some of the best facilitators across the world come to us every month. And I had the opportunity to be with them both in the tech walkthrough and in the session. So that helped me learn a lot about Zoom. And I never thought that this will be a lifesaver in the last 6 months. I was always thinking that I'm spending this 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 hours with IAF. So that has been so useful for me, and thanks to IAF for giving me this opportunity. And thanks to Paul for putting all this together, and one more session where I'm willing to sort of learn. Looking forward to the platforms today. Thank you. Over to you, Paul.
Right. So, Darcy, I think it's looking at our agenda, that's the moment where we are going to ask Peter and Kevin to introduce themselves, right? And
Yes.
you taking the lead on that panel session that is now live on Facebook.
Yes, Peter and Kevon, thank you very much for joining us today. And we are so eager to learn from you what your platforms are going to teach us and how is it going to help us facilitators to use them, and some overview of your platform. So I'm going to have a session with you for about 25 minutes. Could you please share, starting from Kevon? He seems to be unmuted already, so I think he's more ready. So Kevon, could you please start sharing about your platform? Of course, we are going to experience it. We're going to let the participants experience it. So over to you. You have about 7 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And before you do that, Kevin, just one question. If our colleagues on board would mind to close their videos, because that will make the Facebook transmission easier. And perhaps even Raj can, as a host, can focus Kevin on the hotspot or something like that. Because on Facebook, we would experience the interviewee much better.
Sorry. I will do the spotlight, Paul. I will do the spotlight.
Fantastic. Cool. Thank you so much.
Over to you,
Okay.
Kevin.
All right. So I think I'll speak for like 5-7 minutes and then I'll pass it to Peter. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevon, and as you can see from my name, I'm actually sitting in Hong Kong right now, but I do have a remote, semi-remote team. It's 6 of us, half in Hong Kong and then half rest of the world. So I'm happy to be here because I've been working on our platform Toasti for 1.5 years now. And we have been seeing a lot of changes in the last 6 months, and we're actually quite excited about it because in the past, video meetings exist, but not everyone knows how it works. But in the last 6 months, I think technology companies like me and Peter, we are able to really observe user behavior very closely, and we can see what the future of virtual meeting is like. So my own prediction is that we're actually just in the beginning. From the last 6 months, we learned so much that in the next 6 to 12 months, I think all of the platforms is going to get so much better. So a lot of people would ask me, hey, Toasti, cute name. How are you different from Zoom? That's the question I hear all the time. First thing first. I like to explain my team theory about virtual meeting. We feel like right now, a lot of the platforms out there, they look at virtual meeting, which is this box right here, the actual meeting. But for us, we think a good meeting actually goes before the meeting where you plan it, and goes after the meeting where you actually summarize it and follow up. So I think some of you will experience Toasti later on, where Toasti allows you to pre-plan all the interactions in the meeting way ahead of time. You can say, I'm going to start with a poll, and then next I'm going to have a question prompt, and then next I'm going to break people in groups, and this is what people will do in breakout rooms. You can structure everything in an agenda view, and then when you're running the meeting, basically you're just clicking start, 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 start. So in a way, we believe that structure meeting plus the flexibility during it is what makes the meeting so great. So yeah, I think that's the planning part. And then the collaborating part is really pretty much the engagement. The word engagement is how you can get people to participate, but not just like what you guys are doing right now, sitting there and listening, right? That's not engaging. And then the last part is summarizing the meeting. Like, we work on a way where we actually automatically capture everything that happens in the meeting. For example, you prompt a question to people. People are writing their answers down, right? Why not give a whole report to you so that you can end your meeting with this nice little summary, and then you can share it with your client, share it with your participant right away. So all in all, I think I'm going to stop here. Toasti focus on the end-to-end experience of virtual meeting. And we believe next 6 to 12 months, a lot of great things will happen, not just in Toasti, but Video Facilitator, Zoom, WebEx. I heard they announced something about breakout rooms. So like things are exploding right now. So really happy to be here to show everyone more later on. Thank you. Passing it to you, Peter.
Thank you very much. So Peter, we are eager to listen to you. About your platform.
Yeah, you know, so much about what Kevin says is exactly what I think as well. It's like, and that one question around how you're different to Zoom, that happens all the time. And it's really kind of, you know, the way I see it is Zoom does like a really good job of that in the single room conference. But it doesn't really do what a facilitator needs. And some of those things are the aspects around what I think video facilitators really focused on. So, you know, we're really focused on primarily two major things. One, which is participant-led. So everything is about empowering participants and then also empowering facilitators. And we think that that kind of drives engagement. And then we also have a big focus on how do we create just-in-time facilitation controls. So it's, you know, yes, you can do prep work beforehand, but a lot of what I think happens as a facilitator is you read, engage the audience, and just in time, sometimes you need to be able to make some kind of tweaks and recoveries and things like that. So rather than, you know, having the pressure of getting it right up front, being able to kind of do things as you need them is one of the key kind of focuses around video facilitator. So, you know, I think, like Kevin says, things are going to change. Even if Zoom was to pick up the stuff we're doing, I think it's a great thing. Like part of what I think apps like Kevon's and mine will do is force the bigger guys to actually do something a bit different. You know, I had heard Google's trialing their breakout rooms as well. And I was actually asking someone saying, hey, so do you think they're just going to copy what Zoom does? Or do you think they're actually going to do something that actually helps? And that's a question which I'm not sure about. I hope it's the latter, but it could be the former. And I think that's where platforms like Kevon and mine can really play a part, is like, you know, if we actually do show that there is a need, then it will drive a impetus for change. And ultimately, you know, my hope is we just change how co-creation works. It's like, for the future, I'm a big believer digital actually has huge benefits, can actually be better than in the room, because a lot of things that were problems in the past around, you know, meeting rooms and trying to book them, and actually you can't move it quickly between rooms, you've got size limits, a lot of that will fade away, and you'll be able to do things where you can rapidly move from event to event to event without any of those kind of reforming kind of problems in the future. So I think it's really interesting where it's going to go, and there's kind of no limits to where it went. So yeah, I guess that's probably a little bit about what we're doing, what we think, and keen to kind of just chat, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter and Kevon. Kevon, are you open to taking some few questions?
Yes, any questions?
Yeah, thank you. You seem to be very cheerful and taking. So I'll keep it very simple, more from an audience perspective. So could you please share how it all started at the conception stage of Toasti? I really love the name Toasti. It's very simple, and also gives a very good association. You know, like a toast. You know, raising a toast. So it's really good. So how it all started at the conception stage?
Yeah. So I didn't come from a professional facilitation background. My background was in education, running a kids coding school for the last 4 years. So it's a lot about people, humans. Just like a lot of startup, when we first started out, this is not what we had in mind. What we had in mind is when you have a group of people in a physical room, how do you get them to interact with each other in a better way? So we've developed Toasti so that people can use their mobile phone. And then if you have like 50 people at your workshop, physical workshop, Toasti is going to guide people in terms of interacting, having some cards, having some questions, So people are not awkward. So that was where we started. And to be very honest, COVID actually forced us to move online. So we started working on this like maybe end of last year, and suddenly nothing is physical. And a lot of people come to us and say, hey, Kevon, you have been working on this engagement technology, which I really love. But now I'm on Zoom. How do I even use that? And at first I was like, okay, that's a great chance for me to grab this opportunity. So I teach them. I sit down and I taught them how they can use Zoom with Toasti together. But very soon I realized that's just not going to work, because I know all of you must know juggling between different platforms. No one wants to do that. Everything should be in one place. So what happened was that we decided, hey, if we want to make people's life easier, then we have to move online with our technology. So that's when we moved online in around March. And then in the last 5 months, we have been learning so much from the community of facilitators to focus on this area. And then it becomes who we are today. So that's the backstory.
Thank you, Kevon. So you're very happy to be in the midst of some facilitators here to look.
Oh,
right?
yes, I'm enjoying.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think I'll ask 2 questions here, then 2 questions, Peter, so that we have a mix of both. So the next question to you, Kevon, is you in your talk, you mentioned about some insights you got research into user behaviors. So what kind of behaviors top of the mind is standing out for you, and what trends you see in the behavior?
I think one of the biggest behavior is definitely virtual experience is not just about the technology. So like in March, a lot of people rushing online, they think that they can find the perfect platform to solve their needs. But soon enough, everyone knows that there's no perfect platform. Like different platforms all have pros and cons. It really based on what your favorite, like what your top priority objective is, and then you pick that platform to use. And I start like talking to so many facilitators, and I realize, hey, actually a lot of things is not solved by the technology. Actually, you guys are really good at like using physical facilitation, like maybe hiding the camera or having posted to also make that experience great. So what that told us is that as technology companies, we don't really have to do it all. Like there are so many feedback about like, oh, playing background music or like this and that. We cannot do it all, but what we should do is build tools so that we can enable you to design your own experience. For example, we integrate with Miro Whiteboard, Google Tools, and I don't expect everyone to use them. But in any case, if you just like find enough tools on Toasti that can empower your session, I think that's good enough. So we do have a hard time choosing what to build in the last couple of months.
How is it going to be going forward as far as the trend is concerned? Kevon?
Yeah. What's your question?
What do you see as the trend going forward?
What's the future of Toasti?
Yes.
I don't know, to be honest. But one thing I know is virtual meeting is definitely to stay. Maybe not in some part of the world, but I think a big part of the world will see how efficient it is. So I met a facilitator who's based in Bangkok right now. He's not from Bangkok, but he's based there. And he told me he is planning to move 100% of his work online. And that prompts me to think that, yeah, this is really to stay. So the role of Toasti is, I don't know, just help as many people as possible. And we don't really know what we're building in 2 months. We're just like planning small badges of features based on what we hear. Yeah, so let's leave it like that.
Okay, thank you very much. So Peter, I'm coming to you. So you've been observing the world, and what made you think of a platform like what you mentioned? At the drawing at the drawing board stage, what was the conversation? What was standing out there?
It was actually more just solving something that really annoyed me. So I've been working at geographically distributed companies for a while. And, so I was at a startup that was naturally distributed because we were hiring specialist resources halfway across the world because you had to hire them from there because they're not going to come to Australia. It's so far away that they wanted to live in Europe. So those type of things. And then I was in a Australian national business that had, different states, and Australia's so big that ultimately that meant a lot of the meetings had 4 different regions in it where people weren't co-located. I'm not sure what it's like everywhere else, but Australia's got a very big push on work-life balance at the moment. So invariably, every session you've got has at least 1 or more people remote or distributed from everyone else. And so I actually was trying to run a culture workshop. So my other job is an agile coach, so do a bit of facilitation and things. And I was running a culture workshop where I wanted people to talk about what did culture mean to them in small little groups, and then have a bigger kind of group discussion. We couldn't do it with the existing tech, so we ended up having a big 12-person conversation. And as you can kind of imagine how that went, it was not the most exciting or engaging conversation ever. And it prompted me to really go, hey, well, why can't we fix this kind of thing? I wasn't actually convinced it was something to do still, but it was through conversations with other people in my network over here around, hey, maybe we should just try to fix this. And people seem to resonate with it. And so we kind of got started from there. So about December 2018, where we just kind of started working on it. It's about 9 iterations in now. So yeah, we've been kind of evolving and building on what that looks like. And it was really more to solve my problem of, how do we drive really good, engaging, distributed workshops? Because I'm a big believer that, remote teams and distributed working should work. It's just that the tech doesn't support it yet.
Thank you. So Zoom being a part of everybody's life, you people, had the courage and conviction to go for something like this. So what was your most favorite challenge as you were developing, Peter? Most frustrating one?
What's the most frustrating? It is impossible to compete with a Zoom because they're so big in terms of infrastructure and things. So, they are going to always have better stability than any of the smaller players. Even actually their competitors, their big player competitors, they're still more stable, like the Microsofts, etc. But I personally think there's something they're missing, which is about the humanizing of the conversation, which is where people will actually look for an alternate solution. So I guess from my perspective, stability and of the calls is always critical. It's like the number one thing on my mind all the time. Fast followed by, do we have the right kind of feature set that makes these sessions really, really engaging? Yeah, I guess that's probably it. I look back to why I didn't just go with the Zoom at the time, and it's primarily because it's facilitator led. And I don't know about you guys, I'm probably a little bit more of a lazy facilitator in that I hate over preparing. And with something like a Zoom, I just know I'm in for a whole lot of pain in organizing stuff. And I'm rushing around, mapping people, always feeling bad that I'm wasting people's time. And I just don't want that pain. I just want to focus on the great engaging conversations instead.
Thank you very much. I'm one of those lazy facilitators. I don't want to over prepare. So there is a question here from Alison, and this is the last question in the interest of time, because I want you to experience the platforms. Both of them are eager to showcase. So the question Alison is asking, and any one of you can take, that is wondering how if you're also thinking of how your platforms would work with hybrid experiences. That is digital plus in-room, synchronous or asynchronous. So Kevin, if your throat is more ready, because Peter just spoke, so you're okay. You also read the question. Or Peter, or anyone.
Yeah. Well, definitely happy to answer this. Honestly, not top of our mind right now because everything is still digital, and for us to, by the way, someone mic has like a radio sound on.
So you guys are experts. You might want to know how to cut off these radio sounds.
Okay, I think we're good. We're all muted. I think for us to continue to develop the platform, a lot of times we have to look at like user behavior, user experience, and we haven't looked at hybrid because when you merge together digital and in-room, I don't think we're at that point that we have a good grasp of how that experience should look like. So maybe it'll come later on, but we're definitely fully focused on digital right now. But I love your question around like asynchronous versus synchronous, because I think one question we have always have in mind is, why does meeting need to be synchronous? Like, why do everyone need to get on at the same time? It could be possible to do it asynchronously. We don't know how yet, but I think that would be a pretty interesting angle to go down if we can achieve the same results. We don't know if we can, but that is pretty interesting. So yeah, Peter, what about you?
Fantastic question. Starts with the question. So Peter, would you like to add some of your insights on this?
I think like Kevin says, there's not a real clear answer on what this looks like. That's actually why I'm like, it's so interesting a space, is because a lot of the problems that people are talking about, there are no defined solutions for yet. And that's a lot of what I learned through building Video Facilitator is, you know, I would get questions around, oh, well, how should this work? And the actual answer is, I don't know, and nor does anyone else. So it's actually that learning experience. I do, though, think like there is a definite space for it. I would be thinking, you know, maybe the opportunity is around IoT devices and things that actually help people engage in the conversation. Biggest challenges in hybrid is around when you've got 6 people in one room, do they only get 1 vote? Actually, do you need 6 screens? At the moment, I know most of us try to make it work by having every single person on a laptop. I think the hybrid there would be 1 big screen, but 6 ways of interacting. So could we provide them simpler ways of interacting through like, you know, remote devices that let them vote, let them chat, let them do that type of thing without the need for a big computer screen? That's probably, to me, what I'm imagining is on the fringes. But who knows? I think as we get there and teams are starting to ask for it, it's really going to be, what problems are you trying to solve? How do you kind of engage? That I think what I'm more interested at the moment is, could you drive better facilitator insights for a pure digital session, which then translates into wearables and things that people then can kind of use. But there's a whole bunch of privacy and kind of issues around that as well. And I think one of the key things for us is, you know, making sure we do the right thing by the participants and the people, and not storing information we shouldn't. And I think that I'm sure Kevin's got the same kind of thing as well, right?
Yeah, I actually have something to add to that, because since you're mentioning, and then back to the question about like, what's the future of Toasti? We actually believe that virtual meeting can be a lot better than physical meeting. Like, a lot of people are still saying like, it's not the same, it's not the same. But why is it not the same? It's because the environment and the technology is not at that point yet, but it's definitely possible. I don't think we can replace all, but maybe 90% of the meeting can be done virtually and can be 10 times better. And it will be down to people like me and Peter to figure that out, how to do it. Yeah.
I've got a perfect example of something that fits in that space, actually, right? And if there's quite a popular thing at the moment, objectives and key results. And one of the kind of prevailing assumptions is, actually, you can't run objective and key results alignment sessions in a company because it takes too much time. You need too much space. You need to reform groups. You need the time to discuss. But in the digital world, actually, you don't have that time to reform and find rooms and all these type of things. So it is actually possible to do, hey, let's set our company level objectives and key results, and then immediately move into the next level down, and then immediately move into the next level down. And there's some things that are just going to become possible that were not possible in the past because of the physical constraints that we have. And so one of the things I think I'm particular with Video Facilitator is not to design it around the physical in the room kind of experience. It's got to be a digital, built for digital experience.
Thank you, Peter. That's a great dimension. I think there'll be more questions, but in the interest of time, as well as experience is the best way to answer several questions. And so I'm handing over back to Paul for leading us into the next point of the agenda. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kevon and Peter. Wonderful answers in short time, shows your expertise. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was a very, very interesting panel. Narsi brilliantly facilitated. And I would say a round of applause for our speakers. And so everybody, please turn on their videos and applaud these interesting contributions from our friends. It's not usual that two competing companies agree to be together in the same round table and share their technology and their platform.
That can happen only with facilitators. We are embracing every single people. You know, diversity is our experience and joy.
So true, Narsi, so true. Okay, so I've been watching in live. We have a good reaction. I think we have a reach out of 246 people, which is really, really cool. And so right now, Raj, over to you to lead us on the following block of the agenda today.
Yes, Paul, I'm ready to put all of us into breakout rooms. Only one thing I feel sad because I have to remain in Zoom while everybody is going to enjoy Toasti and Video Facilitator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of us into two rooms, one for Toasti, another for Video Facilitator. I'm not sure whether I got the name right. And I'm also going to make sure that Paul, you and Narsi are going to be in two rooms. So yeah, I did that. And I see Shelley and Cox. So is my pronunciation right? That name is in two rooms. So what do? I keep both in one room. Is that a good idea?
Different rooms, yes, no problem.
Shelly, yes, I think she probably, this is the case of someone that logs with a mobile phone also.
Yeah,
Shelly from Barbados.
Okay, Paul, I'm ready with the breakout room where you and Narsi are in two different rooms. Kevon and Peter are in two different rooms. I hope I got that right. So,
and just to make sure everybody has seen our agenda, we are now going to be separated in different groups. And each group will experience consecutively a little bit of Toasti and also 20 minutes of Video Facilitator. So yes, if you are in the other group, the order will be different, right? But stay in the group so that in the end we can all share our reflections.
Thanks, Paul. And I also want to tell you that we are going to experiment something which we have never done before, which is you're going to go into breakout room. From there, you are going to go into another universe. You're going to go into another virtual platform. And then you might, somewhere in between, in the time travel, you may get, of course, after going into the platform, how will you come back to Zoom? You have not practiced that yet. So which means you may get cut. If you get cut after experiencing Toasti, after experiencing Video Facilitator, you may be in a high. But I would highly recommend you to come back to Zoom using the same link which you joined, so that we are able to give you an experience with the other platform as well. Yeah, Paul, I think
Alison has rightly put all of us are stunt drivers now.
And as I told you, I'm going to remain here in Zoom. I have no clue where you are, what you did, etc. after this breakout, and then you leave to another room. But let me experience it with all of you.
So 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes, Paul, in the breakout rooms.
Yes, I think that's the agreed schedule time, 15
Yes.
minutes in each group.
Yes. Yes, Paul. So what I'm going to do is, after I put all of you into the breakout room, if somebody joins, I have no clue what to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point. If he's late, he's going to stay with you and discuss about virtual facilitation.
Okay. I will confuse him as much as I can if somebody joins, he or she joins. Okay, now I'm going to open the breakout rooms. Hold your breath. Here you go. Yep. I've opened the rooms. You may want to click on join the breakout room button in your screen. I see everybody joining. Most important people, Kevon and Peter, need to join. Yep. Everybody join the breakout rooms. Hope if you have the link, you can join Toasti. You can find it in chat.
To set up the next activity or something. Do you guys all see the box to vote? Okay.
That's nice.
So yeah, you can only vote once and you cannot vote for yourself. So that's the system settings. And now that we're talking about like a poll-like feature, actually tomorrow we are pushing out a feature where you can have a poll. So basically you can ask like, hey, which department are you from? And then next we're doing a breakout, and you can actually say, and you can actually go up so that the group is much more dynamic and people are going to have much more fun with that. Any questions so far?
How many people can the system host?
A lot of
I can understand how to do it.
Each session we can do up to 50 people. I hope.
So welcome back, everyone.
Raj, I wasn't sure whether we're early or late.
Yeah, the right time here.
They're
Okay,
going well.
good.
They're going well.
Exactly. 16 minutes. I'm concerned about the other group.
We were using a timer, so I forced everyone out.
Okay. Okay.
If anything, in my facilitation approach, I'm usually a bit of a time Nazi. So
Yes, that's one of the key requirements.
Yes. You did well, this group. I will text Paul to bring the group.
Greetings, everyone. I'm back here.
Very good.
Raj, did you saw my screen sharing? I was sorry for you, so I tried to share my
Yes,
screen.
Paul. Yes, there was a screen share. As soon as the screen share was on, so I resumed the recording, and till the time it was on a pause, and now I'm just waiting for 13 seconds for the breakout room to formally close, even though there is nobody in the breakout room. Very funny thing, and first time I'm doing it.
I think participants are still watching last minute presentation from Toasti. And then we'll create another breakout, and I will have the chance to be with Peter. And Narsi will be on Toasti, and
I think we broke a speed record as stunt driver on these demos.
there's so many nuances to it. I think one of the customers that we've got, he uses it with his remote team, and he sits himself in the main room. And as his team comes in to go to meetings, he has his water cooler conversation. And so it's he's replaced that lack of kind of physical contact with that kind of approach. It's super interesting what people are doing at the moment.
fantastic. No, that's what Kevin just said. I think this segment is going to grow a lot because Zoom has so much limitations for real facilitation, and if you guys can integrate more collaboration on top of a good video platform, then I think for a professional facilitator that will be a plus.
Yeah, I have a client right now who refuses to do anything outside of Zoom. So really, my hands are real tied.
You're lucky because some clients that I have refuse to do anything on Zoom. I have to find alternatives because it's not allowed due to security issues. I said, I'm going
Right.
mad, you know. And
Well, and they're afraid of breakout rooms. It's been fun.
I currently
Yeah.
have a client. I try to convince them to do a virtual retreat, like over more days, shorter sessions online instead of a face-to-face retreat, because COVID cases are really increasing in Jamaica exponentially right now. But they are afraid of losing control when they are not in a room together. You know, they don't want to lose the sight of the people. I mean, it's a very hierarchical organization, and it's really difficult to convince them, you know, that this is doable. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they will be forced to do it because
they will definitely have to think about it, that's for sure, because there's little way that the situation is going to improve, at least in the short term.
exactly.
Where's Kevon? Kevon has come?
Yeah, Kevon, they should be here any minute.
Yes. Breakout rooms are ready for the people who are here. I need to get Kevon's group so that I can put all of them in that respective rooms.
Okay. And when I was talking to you later, Raj, was to stop the live stream transmission, because I'm not a host, I cannot stop it, but you can, right? Unless you want to leave it on, and that's also not a problem.
Kevon's team is here.
And then everybody can see your smiling face.
Yeah. Kevon is back, and I hope
Yeah,
that
we're back.
team is back. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to open the second round of breakout rooms. And since I've been doing it manually and I opened it before a few of them joined, it's given me option only for a few people to move in. Rest of the people I'll be moving in once I open the breakout rooms. So now Alison, Don, Hi, Peter, Ula, and Narsi, they are already in breakout room 1, which means they were in 2, now they're in 1. In room 2, Pastor is there, Hope is there, Paul, you are there, Shelly is there. Rest of the people I'll be moving in once I open the rooms. One moment. I opened all rooms.
Okay.
Kevon, I need to assign to 2. Tim, I need to assign to 2. Paulo, I need to assign to 2. I've done that, assigned everyone. I hope I did it right. Have a nice time.
Hi, Raj. I was in the wrong breakout. I think I need to be in the other breakout.
You are in 2. You need to be in 2.
I
Come
need
on.
to be in 1, I think.
Last time we were in 1.
But I have all the same people with me.
Yeah, you had the same people with you?
I had
So I have
Yeah,
to move
just
Kevon and
flip
Peter.
me and Peter.
Yeah. I need to move one of you only. Okay. So I will move.
I need to be with Kevon as well. Shelly
Come here.
from Barbados.
Yeah. So I need to move only. Okay, then I need to close all rooms and open it again.
I need a code. I need a code for Kevon.
Oh, I pasted the link on the Zoom chat. So it's just a quick link. You can join on Chrome.
Yes, and now it's asking me for a code there.
Okay, I will move Peter.
It says enter the 6-digit code.
Oh, put 690775.
690775. Okay, thank you.
Kevon, you know what happened?
First name again?
I I changed everybody from 1 to 2. And then I did the same
Email
for you and
again.
Peter as well.
What is this?
I'm still on Zoom, so give me 1 second. Sorry.
Kevon,
I'm gonna head over.
if you
Peter,
can.
I moved you into the other room. Can you join now?
How do I do that? Oh, there we go.
On the top
okay.
of the screen, left-hand side top. Sir, do you see the link on the left-hand side top? Breakout room, join breakout room. You're not audible, sir. You're on mute. Top left. You will see join breakout room. Or at the bottom.